Welcome back to the Dex and Randi Show, the number one show for going through the ups and downs of life. Stay tuned. You're coming up next. What's up? What's up? Welcome back to another episode of the Dex and Randi Show. I'm your host, Dex. I'm excited as always to have you guys back with us for another episode of our show. And as always, I got my beautiful co-host with me, my wife, my best friend, my everything, my life partner, my ride or die. What's up, man?
Hey. Hi, everyone. I am the co-host of the Dex and Randi Show.
What's up, y'all? So, hey, look, man, I'm happy to have you guys back with us. You know what I mean? For another episode, we got a lot on our minds, but had a lot going on. A lot of good things, a lot of bad things, ups, downs, and everything. But before we get into all of that, as always, sponsor of our show is Basden Accounting LLC. Make sure you check out Basden Accounting, www.basdenaccounting.com. You can follow us on Instagram. Basden Accounting is where you need to get your accounting done for your business. All right. Make sure your books is right. Make sure you're ready for your taxes. You need to pay your employees, your payroll. You need advice for the future, what you should be doing with your money. Making sure that everything is tight as a business owner. You need you need the best accounting and tax professionals supporting your business. And that is what you get with Basden Accounting LLC, the proud sponsor of every episode of the Dex and Randi Show, right, man?
Oh, that was nice.
Yeah, for
Yes.
sure,
I
for
like
sure.
that.
You know what I mean? Your
Mhm.
t-shirt's inspiring me. I don't know.
Oh,
But
thank you. And I've been
yes,
working in the business today, working on our
I
stuff.
see
Yeah,
you've been pushing today. You
I
know what I
have
mean?
been.
Yes.
I get that from you, though.
Really?
Yeah, because when you working on stuff, sometimes you be pushing to the last minute,
True.
past the last minute. Like, I just need to get this done.
True,
I
true.
would love to check this off my to-do list.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. So how you feeling, man? What's up? What's up?
feel good.
You feel good?
Feeling pretty good.
I feel
Yeah.
pretty good too. You know what I mean? It's been a good it's been an interesting, week or two. A lot of things going on. Um, for anybody who don't know, I'm a soccer coach. So we just had a weekend out of town, which was exciting weekend, a very fun, great learning experience. But we had I coached 2013 boys, so they're like U12, and we had our first tournament, Labor Day tournaments up in Fredericksburg, Maryland. And as always,
It's not Fredericksburg, Maryland.
Fredericksburg, Virginia. Thank you. Hey, I'm from Bermuda. I don't know. Fredericksburg, Virginia.
There
Thank
you
you.
go.
Ain't no Fredericksburg, man. But anyway, when we had these tournaments, we looked to make little vacations out of them. If you guys been following our podcast, you know we like a little vacation. We like to take our kids and spend time with the family and make moments bigger than what they might be by getting a little creative and making a vacation out of it. So we got a hotel up in Fredericksburg, Virginia. You know what I mean? And we spent like the Friday and Saturday up there, and we had a really really good time. And I got a lot of new players this year.
Mhm.
First thing is we came second in the tournament, which was great. That was amazing. Yes, yes, let's clap it up for that. You know what I mean? But it was so many things that happened in this tournament, but it really was the first time of seeing these guys on the field together. You know what I mean? A lot of new
Mhm.
players, and how were they going to respond to this competitive environment where we was truly playing for something? We had one game so far, it was like a scrimmage, a little warm up. But this one was an actual tournament, right? Actual competitive environment. And I had my team manager, Randy. You know what I mean? She's everything, not just the co-host of this show, but she my wife, friend, business partner, multiple businesses, team manager. She was there on the
Yeah,
sideline with me.
I
I
was.
want I want to hear from you on what you got from this weekend at the tournament, what that experience was like for you. I mean, working with the parents, being on the sideline with me. How
It
was
was
the
nice.
experience for you,
It
man?
was nice.
Yeah, what was
Yeah.
nice about it?
What was nice about it being up close,
Mm-hmm.
being able to see everything. My understanding of the game
Mm-hmm.
is getting better, but I still don't understand exactly what offsides
Yeah,
is.
we could break that down later.
So yeah.
But
But
yeah.
I'm seeing stuff. I can see the growth in some players, like the returning players.
Mm-hmm.
I can see the chemistry between certain players.
Yeah.
I like your coaching. I can see that you're more free on the field.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was good.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you. I
yeah.
appreciate that.
You're a great coach.
Thank you.
Coach.
Thank you. Thank you. You know what? Like, I did feel more free. You know what I mean? It's always nice to have a fresh start in things. And I know that last season I had some challenges, and really we all deal with this sometimes, but sometimes you get lost trying to make everybody happy. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? We talked about this, but you can't make everybody happy when you're executing your vision and what you want. And this is with anything, not just sports. So not everybody's gonna be happy with what you do, how you lead, how you communicate, how you coach. You know what I'm saying? If you find yourself trying to check everybody's box, you could lose some of the love and joy of doing what you're supposed to do. And I felt like that happened to me last year. I'm refocused, re-energized, you know what I mean? Confidence is up, and I want to do my program my way and have people be accountable to that. One of the things that's helped me is the trainings I'm did over the summer, through
Mhm.
the soccer school, Triangle Soccer Academy. Make sure you follow them on Instagram and TikTok. But I started a soccer school with my uncle a couple months ago, and I've been able to train players throughout the summer, no matter what team they're on. So I'm on the field with them, just teaching, just the skills. There's no requirement that you play for me, and it's not for a game. Like, it's literally just teaching these skills. So I feel like I kind of got back in my bag of doing it the way I do it. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So that kind of was a good transition in the season because I feel warmed up. You know what I mean? So,
Right, right, right.
but no, the tournament was real good. But some of the things that I would say that was memorable was, second place great. It's not always about winning, but just watching these players come together. I feel like the tournament had everything from highs and lows. We got players high fiving after goals. We got players crying after a tough loss. You got us on the Saturday pretty much dominating the two teams we played. And then we wake up Sunday morning, and before you know it, it's 9-1, and we got tears on the field.
Right. Yeah.
And then from there, you see him come back an hour and a half later and win that game to get second place after they just finished getting punished an hour and a half before.
Mhm.
And seeing the way that they were so joyous and celebrating with each other in that last game,
Mhm.
a big piece of that was what happened to him an hour and a half prior to that.
Yeah.
Sometimes that success, it means so much more to you after failing. You know, being triumphant is something that feels amazing after you've been knocked on. So watching these guys get knocked on, you know what I mean? Which I know nobody's really ready sometimes when you get knocked on like that. But watching them come back together, be able to mentally put it out their mind, give a better effort in that last game. Watching the way they celebrated at the end, you know what I mean? It was really a beautiful thing for me. So it was a great experience. Had some yellow cards, you know what I mean? A little bit of ref arguing, a little bit of behavioral stuff. But we can work through that.
Yeah.
But that's all part of sports, and that's all part of being the leader of a group.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're gonna have tough moments, but I loved having you on the sideline. I loved watching you with some players when they came over with the tough moments. You was like, hold on, we ain't about to have that on this team.
Mm-mm.
That's
Ain't
not,
doing that.
we ain't doing that. But nah, that was I'm excited about the season, and it's very rewarding to be able to do what I do, which is coaching kids, and I love that we do that together. You know what I'm saying? So great job, team manager. Make sure you put your medal around your neck. I
Oh
hope
yeah,
I
yeah,
hope
yeah.
to see you on the sidelines again soon. We'll talk about these offsides. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? We had some good food down there too,
Yes, we
which was cool.
did.
Our hotel was nice.
Yep.
We never got in the pool there. We
Not
went to
there, no.
one of my son's friends' hotel and used the pool for probably like an hour. But nah, it was good. I had my grandpa with me. So, update: last time we reported, my grandpa had come up here unexpectedly, and was in emergency. He was in the hospital and stuff. But the update is that he's out,
Mhm.
feeling better, very active, talking, making us laugh.
Mhm.
Um, what's it been like having him here? in the house, out of the hospital. What's it been like having him here?
It's been refreshing.
How so?
He be chilling. Like he be chilling. Like he just like even the other night. So our
Mm,
daughter got some bad news about her grandmother on her
yeah,
father's side.
yeah.
And she was in there crying and we were praying and she was like, let's listen to some gospel music.
Hmm.
And somehow he turned out to be the DJ.
I know. I know. Ain't that something?
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
see him pulling Christian to the side, talking to him, giving him advice.
Hmm.
So I love the dynamic of how interactive he is. I've missed that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, he was there at the tournament pushing strollers. First of
Mm.
all, I didn't know that a 79-year-old could be so active. I mean, I'm thinking when he came and whatever he was coming up here for, I'm thinking
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get like this version. But yeah, he's
Hmm.
pushing strollers, pushing wagons, carrying chairs on the field, talking to people. I'm just like,
He was all over the
yeah, he was
place.
all over the place, coming up on the field, trying to coach.
Yeah,
Trying
yeah.
to
Talk about. Hey, look. So talk about that real quick because here. Hey, look. No, keep going. I was about to interrupt you. Keep going. Keep going.
No, what? Well, you interrupted my thought
I sure
process.
did. I'm famous for that. Go ahead, though. My bad.
But
My
no,
bad.
it's good to see healthy interactions.
Yeah.
So, because I
Yeah.
haven't, I mean, the last grandparent that was really here
Yeah.
was my mom,
Yeah.
and
We'll
that was
miss that.
2021, and I've
Hmm.
missed it. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's been a breath, yeah, a fresh air for sure.
Mhm.
And he was all over the place. Like here it is, halftime. I'm talking to my players. One of my player, I'm looking at him in his eye, and I'm wondering why he keeps looking over my head. I'm like, what is he looking at? I turn around, Gramps is there trying to get a word in. I'm like, hell, like you can't even be on this side of the field. This for players, club
But hold on,
personnel
no,
only. You
you
know what I'm
wrong
saying?
because you gonna tell me to get him.
I told you to take care of it.
Right, Randy, take care of it.
And you're like,
I'm like, yes, granddaddy.
but I'm talking to the players and everything, and his like tap tap trying to get a word in.
Bruh,
I'm like, Randy, go handle the business,
no,
and
I got
Randy did
I
nothing.
did. I know. I asked him. He's like, tell Christian, blah 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 blah. Something he said. I'm like, okay. And then he just stood there,
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
he was still waiting. And I was like, I'm not about to tell him to get off the field.
Hmm.
So,
Hey, the thing that had me laughing the most, though, first of all, I love my grandpa. Like we got a lot of these moments in life, but his older, of course. We're watching a game in between games. We got little chairs set up for you to watch the game and everything. I turn around, this guy's on his knees and his knees are inside of like a cardboard box. I'm like, what? It's like literally down on his knees watching the game if his knees in a box. I guess to keep a little cushion off the grass. And I'm like, you don't want to sit down? It's like, I'm cool. But you got he you could tell that he loved being there. You know what I'm
mm-hmm.
saying? And I hopefully, I live long enough to become a grandparent, but it must be something to be able to sit there with your first grandson who's coaching a team and your great grandson who's playing the team and your daughter, you know what I mean? His wife is there and you got to be a part of that. And I could just like it meant a lot to have him
Yeah,
there. And like that was special too. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? And that was real nice. So yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
He's definitely one that's living his life and enjoying it. He's laughing and smiling, and
Hmm.
his playlist.
Yeah.
Like he listens to all types of music.
Uh-huh.
Like he just, yeah,
Yeah.
he's a vibe.
And I've learned lately that he likes Snickers.
Oh, the
Yeah,
little
so
mini
the little
one.
well, he liked the regular size Snickers. So here we went to the Wawa, and he's sitting there holding the Snickers, right? But it's the Snickers that's got two Snickers bars in one pack. It's like the jumbo, but it's two bars in one
Mm-hmm.
package. So I'm like, "You want this?" And he was just like, he's mumbled something, blah blah blah. And I was like, "Oh, you must be looking for the regular Snickers." So I went and got him the regular Snickers, and then he nodded his head or whatever. So when we went to go pay, he had the big Snickers back in his hand. I was like, "Oh, you wanted that big Snickers?" Like, but yeah,
Yeah,
he crushed the Snickers. Though.
I love Snickers. I used to. I haven't
Yeah,
had it in a while, but
yeah. But nah, that was nice. But what else has been going on? We had the tournament. We're back. We got games coming this weekend. But what's been going on with you, otherwise, man?
Um, like personally,
Just life.
I don't know.
Nothing.
I don't know. Mm. Well, something big did happen.
What's up?
I did reach out to a very popular child psychologist.
Hmm.
Because I'm just looking for resources when it comes to our youngest child's development.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know,
Hmm.
our youngest son, he's 2. He has a developmental delay, and I'm just looking at the next steps on how to better support his needs.
Hmm.
So I reached out to this person, big figure in my book, and he reached back out. And I'm very excited about that because I was like, oh my gosh.
Are you worried about saying his name?
I'm not going to say it.
Okay.
No, I'm not going to say it because he's a little controversial.
Yeah, a little bit, a little bit. But was you surprised that he responded?
Yes and no.
Okay.
I'm happy because on a podcast he did say email me.
Hmm.
But people say things
Right,
all the
right,
time.
right.
Oh, if you need, you want me to work with you, email me. And I'm like, this guy has over 1 million followers
Hmm.
on social media. So, but yeah, I emailed. It took a couple weeks for
Yeah,
him to
yeah, yeah.
respond. I was like, shoot, I'm gonna email every Monday until he responds.
Hmm.
So he did respond. Took about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, it's a blessing, and I'm interested in receiving his feedback, but not just him, because I talk to other people as well. But I just want to get the insights on like the next steps, different types of therapies,
Hmm.
when it comes to school, different programs. So yeah, that was really exciting for me.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm moving in a really, really good direction. Yesterday, I went to my friend's house to see her new baby. Oh, he is so cute. But she was doing her mother-in-law's hair, and I don't know exactly like what her mother-in-law does, because she had a lot of knowledge about developmental delay, autism. Like, she was just sharing information with me. And when I was talking about some of the things I was doing and some of my concerns, she was like, wow. She was like, you sound like you know what you're doing. You are right on track.
Hmm.
And I'm like, okay, but I do know that she has like two grandkids on the spectrum.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, confirmation,
Hmm.
confirmation. So yeah,
That's what's up.
yeah,
Well,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know that one of the things you've done, which I appreciate, is that, and the same thing with our podcast. And we went to church, we talked about this other episodes before, but like community really helps, like getting through things in life. So there was a time, and it's still there, where it's like, hey, our son with developmental delays, and what could it mean, and he's not talking to us and stuff like that. But even from, I don't know if it's Miss Amy, I think her name is, but even from like
Mhm.
the very beginning, you started bringing people into our life to kind of give us information. You see what
Mhm.
I'm saying? And creating this community where people actually care about our son, try to help him out, right? So like you was talking about his current caretaker and how she reached out because she thought that she heard him say specific things and stuff like
Mhm.
that. Like, and that gets you excited. Like that
Mhm.
feels good.
Mhm.
So we're not in it alone. Like people know, like, hey, like this is a concern of ours. We're trying to make it better. And when they see things, they're excited to tell us,
Yeah.
right? And they love our son as well. So that really, really helps. Where it's like, we're not the only person going through this.
Mhm.
And the more that you talk to people, the more information you get, it does make it easier for us to go through this. Now, of course, we want them to talk to us. Of course, we wish that it wasn't delays there and stuff like that. But we could always look more at the positive now. There's like a plan. You know what I mean? There's information, there's things to consider.
Mhm.
So I appreciate you starting that process of getting him the help that he needed and the attention that he needed, and you
Yeah.
you being humble enough to talk to people about it.
Yeah.
A lot of times we don't want to talk to people about it when this, I don't want to say things we're ashamed of, but like it's certain things you don't necessarily want to share with people. But I'm glad you love our son enough. Thank you for being the mama you are. Where you're like, I don't really care how hard this is for me. I'm gonna get him the information. I'm
Yeah.
gonna create this community of people where they can help us, and we don't got to go through this alone. So thank you for doing that. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
of
saying?
course. It's important though, because I I would say at first I was hesitant to talk about it because I didn't really know what I was talking about, and I feel uncomfortable, because I don't know what he's going through, what he's dealing with. I don't know if he's on the spectrum. I don't know if, like it's just coming from a place of I don't know.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's kind of like when people ask, like, what are you going to do? Are you going to, get them tested? Like, what are you doing? It's like, I don't know. But now I feel like the I don't know is a place of power. Hey,
Yeah.
listen, I don't know what's going on, but this is what I've done. What have you seen? What
Yeah.
is your experience? Oh, tell me about your grandchild. What was he doing? Like
Yeah.
I come from a place of I want to know your experience, and I don't know, but whatever you have, you can help me in some sort of way, because there's no playbook.
Yeah.
There's no specific way to go about things, but I love my son. I want him to have a great quality of life, and I'm going to do everything I can. So when it comes to the diet
Yeah.
and cleaning that up, hey, I got it from somewhere. I don't even remember who told me, but I definitely feel more confident in those conversations.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and it's like everybody you talk to knows somebody who's on the spectrum. And most often it's like a positive
Thing.
like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, he did, he's doing this or was doing this, and then he was a part of this program, and then he progressed this way, or he has this IEP and he worked with this person. So yeah.
Nah, the thing is though, which I do make jokes about, but hopefully you take it the right way. But the kind of attentiveness that you give him, like you don't play when it comes to him. You know what I mean? Don't eat his food, don't touch his juice. You know what I mean? Like you're very much on top of everything with him. And you always been like just you two. Like he's always wanted his mama. He's always underneath his mama. And I know in the beginning that kind of had me a little bit more standoffish with him because I just noticed that. And I know you wanted me to do more. I will tell you that it's still a lot like that. You know what I'm saying? But I give you an example. Like this morning, I took him to school, and I've been taking him to school more frequently. And he's not talking to me. That's fine. But when I go to take him out of the car seat, he's smiling at me. He's trying to hug me. I pick him up and I carry him inside. And before he was just wild, wild all over the place, like I couldn't control him. Now a lot of the times he lays on my shoulder for a bit, smiles at me. I can
Yeah.
feel his energy change, and I'm like, oh, what connected more? You're happy to see Daddy. I know that you're happy that Dad is taking you to school. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, oh, this is how I need to build my relationship with you. So now, me taking him to school, that's our thing. I
Mm-hmm.
could tell that he looked forward to that. Before I even put him in the car, I went to get him out his car seat this morning, and he's smiling at me. I
Mm-hmm.
could tell, like, he knows it's time to go to school. You
Mm-hmm.
see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
When he gets to the school, I love that when I drop him down, he's already ready to go, just like when we go to the gym.
Yeah.
But like that little change, I'm like, all right, well, that could maybe help him also to communicate more with all of us.
Yeah.
And our children are also
They're being more
spending more
intentional.
time with him too,
Yeah.
you know. But the blessing that we have is that we don't have to guess if it's loving his life, no matter if it's saying anything or not. God allows him to show us enough that he's happy to see us, happy to spend time with his mama, his sister, his brothers. He'll sit there and watch you cook. You know what I mean? Watch you bring his food. He's very patient, very well behaved. You know what I mean? And it's a lot of things that we can be thankful for that we have in our son. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
I've become more and more appreciative of what we have versus what we don't
Yeah.
have for
Yeah.
sure.
It
Yeah.
it definitely it changes you.
Yeah.
For me, I'm like, I don't know. Like I just thought that having a child with special needs before I had one with special needs,
Hmm.
I used to just think like, oh, it must be so hard.
Right.
Or man, that's tough.
Hmm.
But you just love them, and you take care of them like you would any other child
Because you love them.
because you love them.
That's it.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it definitely comes with its challenges, but I don't feel that way anymore, and I wouldn't
Hmm.
want anybody to feel sorry for me or any of that stuff, because that's not That's not the situation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
It's been a good week of business, as always. I think it's been a good week or two of business. We'll continue to get better with that. What I would say is that for anybody who has a business, you can go back when you make things better. And we had different moments pop up where we've been tempted to go back. We've been tempted to fall into some bad, habits per se. But I will say that as we've gone forward and had potential new clients and people's been interested, for the most part, it feels good to be on the same page. When we met with one of our clients and met with the new director, I loved how we looked. I love the way we presented ourselves. I love how we're working now. Our operations manager is doing a pretty good job very, very quickly. I've seen the impact that she's had on our team in totality. You know what I mean? People want to be present in meetings, people want to be on top of their stuff, so it's even made us better internally, And my point with that is like when you have a business and you do everything on your own, you can be great. But when you expand and you bring others into your business, sometimes they don't just make your business better, but they make you better. And I can see that us hiring an operations manager is making me better. I want to be more present. I want to be more involved. And I'm happy with how things are going. And as we look to grow, I feel better about that. And having another perspective, I know in time's going to help also. And I think just us not being involved as much in the day-to-day administration of stuff is really good. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I'm happy for where we are. And I don't know how you feeling about business right now.
I feel good. I feel like I'm on top of it.
Yeah.
I've felt like I was treading water
Uh huh.
for a long time. And now I feel like I got a little swim going on.
Right.
A little one. I'm not flying through the water, but
Yeah.
I'm definitely not treading. I'm moving.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I'm checking off things on my to-do list that these things have been sitting on this to-do list
Yeah.
for a long time, months.
Mhm.
And I'm slowly just checking the boxes. Like today, I had I have a long to-do list, but I checked off one completely and then I'm very close to checking off something else. But that's because I have a support system now.
Yeah. Even things as small per se as having the right contract set up is making me feel good, right? Like
Mhm.
there was a time where I would have been afraid to bill somebody for something, and I wouldn't be confident to say, hey, well, the current pricing arrangement what got it don't include this, but we spent the time to write our contracts up the right way, and we know what the service provides. So like when you brought up for one of our clients, you was like, hey, I got to do some general ledger cleanup type stuff. I'm like, well, it makes sense that that's not included in what we're already doing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's okay to go and be like, yo, like this is gonna be additional. Like, but there's so much gray area we used to have that has been removed.
Mhm.
Doesn't mean that everybody's gonna be happy. Doesn't, but it's set up right from the beginning. Like the contract is right. I love the fact that when we bring on new clients, for the most part, our contract is just provided. We don't have to change it, specialize it, customize it. Like the process works because the service that we're providing is consistent. You know what I mean? Every client used to kind of drive how we did things. So was we really running our business, like owning it 100%? Maybe not. You know what I'm saying? But now we earn it. I love that. So I'm
Yeah.
happy to be in business with you. This new version of our business is so much better. And as we say that, we are looking to grow. We're accepting new clients. You know what I mean? So just like we said in the advertisement, like Basden accounting, that's where you need to reach out to. And we're here. We're accepting new clients. We're excited for what we're doing. And before you know it, tax season be around just like that. So it's
Mhm.
it's it's the second, third or so of it's like kind of getting into third quarter of 2024. Don't wait till the end of the year. Think about your tax situation because it's too late. You know what I mean? Start thinking about it right now. But otherwise, what I really want to pour to you about today is we just been
You ain't
talking.
pardon?
Nah, we just been talking. But what I really want to pour to you today, man, is something about how do you deal with things when they end? Great moments, great times in your life, and it eventually ends. Breakups. You know what I mean? That business, you have to close it. That relationship ends. And I've been going through a situation where I realize, now that something is ending. And I want to report about it a little bit. And I'll just be real with y'all. So one thing about me, growing up in Bermuda, my parents were married up until I was about 12 years old, you know. And when I was 12, they split up. And as I was growing up, even though my parents was married, I spent most of my time with my mama, and my grandparents. My daddy was very busy with sports and different stuff like that. But my first 12 years of life was very much dominated with like the time I spent with my mother and my grandparents. But when that didn't work out, here it is a year or so later, my mother met somebody new. And, within 2 years or so, my mama got remarried. So my point with that is, for from the age of 14 all the way up until now, which is like 25 years or so, 20 plus years. Let me make sure I ain't got my math wrong, but 20 plus years, I've had a family that involves my mother and my stepdad, my stepfather, them being together. And the tough part is that, and it's nobody's business, but I've been struggling with knowing the fact that that's coming to an end because my parents are getting divorced, and going through divorce is not easy no matter what age, no matter if you're young or older. You know what I'm saying? My parents have got divorced. So this week, um, as I've been helping my mother through mental illness the last couple of years, I had to go to court this week to help my mother through this divorce situation, you know. And as I went to court and, was sitting through the hearing and everything like that, the weight of the situation, it's like it finally became real to me, you know? And I started thinking about all the memories. And I was talking to you about this at lunch, And I started thinking about, how do you get here? How are you 1 minute 14 in a new house with your family, going to high school, going out to eat together, and then before you know it, you're in the courtroom talking about dividing of assets. Like it was just such a it's like I couldn't believe it, and it's not even an easy thing to talk about, but it's like, how do people go through that, man? How do you get married and be with somebody for so long? And then before you know it, it's like, this isn't going to be anymore. How do you take that home that you guys used to earn together and now you got to split it? You know, there was one part that I was saying, I ain't giving nobody's business because it's nobody's business in details why my parents don't work out. That's their business. But there was one question when the judge was like, is there any chance for reconciliation? And the parties was like, no. And it was just like, dang, you know? I was just like, dang. Just hearing it was like,
It became real. Like,
yeah, it
yeah.
was like, ah. And it just hurt, man. Like it hurt real bad. It just hurt in a place like I can't even explain. And I'm like, what happened? You know? How did we get here? How did we get past these moments? And now I'm in a situation where I gotta try to help my mama get through these moments. And that's why I was there. I pretty much answered all the questions from my mama. But how do we get through these tough moments in life when We never expected it to end. But everything's going to come to an end no matter what. Everything's going to come to an end, including your own life. But like, how do you get through those moments when it ends, you know? So I know with you had tough moments where you had to get through things ending, you know, but what would you, and this is tough, but like, what would you tell anybody that is found out like, yo, this thing that I thought was going to last forever, it could be marriage, it could be business, it could be whatever, you know what I'm saying? What advice can you tell them when they realize it's about to end? You know what I'm saying? I know.
Yeah, I mean, you have to allow yourself to feel it. Allow yourself to feel the pain and the weight of it.
Yeah,
And don't sit in it too long.
I know.
For me, I kind of have like boundaries with myself and unwritten rules. So I can pinpoint the most difficult times of my life,
Mm-hmm.
and I give myself a time period to grieve it. So whether it's a relationship, maybe it's a miscarriage, I'll give myself time to mourn, cry, play sad music, eat my ice cream. Like I allow myself to fully get enwrapped in whatever it is that I'm feeling.
Yeah.
And then you have to put in advance a day, like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I'm giving myself, 30 days to
Yeah.
act a fool.
Yeah.
And then after that, I
Mm-hmm.
have to move forward. I have to get over it.
Yeah.
So that's been my thing. Of course, I lean on the Lord, and
Mm-hmm.
I know that ups and downs, they're a part of life.
Yeah.
Good and bad things happen to good and bad people. And as long as we're on this earth, we are going to go through things. You're going to lose somebody. You're
Mm-hmm.
going to get sick, or somebody you know is going to get sick. Like
Mm-hmm.
you might be in bankruptcy, relationships end. Like there's so many things. You lose a job,
Yeah.
but when you fall, you got to get back up.
Yeah.
So I put all my burdens on the Lord, and I know I'm never alone.
That's
So
what's up. And
that's what
you
I do.
no, that's what's up. It's and to anybody listening, you might be like, well, that's easier said than done. Sometimes you get stuck. Let's be real. Sometimes you do get stuck because when you get married, think about the things you say when you get married. It's to death do us part, right? It's
Mhm.
that I'm gonna love you through the good and bad. It's everything that our podcast is about. It's about going through the ups and downs of something with somebody forever, as long as you live. But a lot of times you don't make it. Marriages don't make it. And if you go into something expecting that it's gonna last for a lifetime, you're not prepared for it not lasting. That's not why you got in it. You see what I'm saying? So when it happens, it's like you could easily get stuck with the I can't believe this is happening. I don't know what to do next. I don't know how to move on. Not everybody knows how to move on. And it's really great that you have this preset rules like I'm going to grieve for a certain amount of time. I'm going to allow myself to feel it for a certain amount of time, but then I'm going to move forward. I know you got a lot of that strength from your mama because your mama went through a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? And I know you have the benefit of having that. You also had good male influences in your life and people that could show you really how to love yourself no matter what. Not everybody has that. You know what I'm saying? But one thing I do want to talk about that could keep you stuck is guilt. You know what I'm saying? Like when things don't work out, whether it's a marriage, a business, whatever, friendship, sometimes you might have did something wrong. You might have been the cause of it. You might have contributed to the cause of it. So it's sometimes it could be a little easier to move on if somebody did something to you. You know what I mean? But what if you did it to the other person? What if you feel like you're the reason why this didn't work? That thing that you wanted to last forever, you're the one that did something to screw it up. You're the one that cheated. You're the one that lied. You're the one that stole. You're the one that wasn't honest. You know what I'm saying? You're the one that ignored your spouse for so many years and they finally left you. You're the one that was arguing with your spouse for so long and you never changed and did those 3 or 4 things that they kept asking you to do for years. It's a little harder to accept the falling out and the ending when you can look back and you're like, wow, I should have did A, B, C, D, E different. You know what I'm saying? One thing that I was talking to you about when we went out to lunch, and I want everybody to take away from this is no matter what reason it is that things don't work out, even if it's 100% your fault, and it's usually not, because when things involve 2 people, there's some shared responsibility of it working and not working. But even if you earn the biggest piece of the pie, right, as to why it fell apart, one thing that I learned when I was around 27 is that there's a certain amount of time where you say, I'm sorry. You only say you're sorry for so long. You only apologize for so long. You only beat yourself up for so long, even if you deserve it. There has to be a line where you say, all right, I did what I did. I've apologized enough. I got to start pouring into me again and loving myself again. And a lot of times people don't know what that line is. You know what I'm saying? So tell you the experience of how I learned it, and anybody that could relate to this, I'll be real quick. But I had a I actually had a relationship before Randy, you know what I'm saying? And I did that relationship wrong. I was dishonest. You know what I'm saying? I hurt them, hurt their family and everything. And for years, I was apologizing, trying to make it right. Sometimes, y'all, let's keep it 100. Sometimes you do something, you can't make it right. Like the real things about life. Some things you can apologize and fix, and some things it is what it is, right? And you can make it right, babe? And you
Yeah.
have to sit in the consequences of the decisions you made. But here it was on my 27th birthday, you know, I was feeling good about my life. I had rebounded, a new relationship, new job, making money, new friends, feeling good. And I got a call from that person that I had hurt. And maybe you guys could relate. Maybe you moved on in a new relationship, or you've moved on to a new job, or whatever you're doing, and you get that little knock from the past. And it just shows up at your front door. You know what I'm saying? And when it shows up, what do? Because you forever feel bad about things that you do wrong. You don't never feel good about it. You know what I'm saying? But here it was on my birthday. I was feeling amazing. And I got this call that pretty much ran me down for everything that I had did wrong in the past. And when I hung up that call, I was feeling bad. But I recognized in that moment, I was like, this is the only person, this is the only situation, this is the only thing that could make me feel bad about myself while I'm currently loving myself. And that's when I knew I had to let it go. Now, what I had done didn't change. I still did something bad. That didn't change, but I had started loving myself again in the life I was living and the things that I was experiencing, that I had to recognize, like, it don't matter what I did before, there's no room for you anymore in this new life. That's what I want my mama to feel. You know what I'm saying? That's what I want everybody to feel. If you've done wrong and you're holding that guilt, forgive yourself, because God is sitting there wanting to forgive you before you even ask for it. And He's pulling you on a journey that even you don't understand. And even if you think you've lost the greatest thing in the world, you don't know if that greatest thing is actually waiting for you on the other side. Right now, I'm married, doing a podcast with my wife. I got 2 businesses and 4 children. I'm doing pretty well. What?
3 businesses.
3 business? 3? Why do I keep saying 2? Yeah, oh my
I wasn't going to
gosh.
correct you, but
No, but every time I say that, it's like I won't give credit to it. Like 3 businesses. But listen.
Maybe you're in denial.
No, that's not it. Stop it. That's not it. That's not it. But no, like God is bringing you through these trials and tribulations of your life for lessons. But it doesn't mean he's not waiting to bless you on the other side. But you can't block your blessing still apologizing for the thing you did in the past. You got to go through the journey and get to the next stage, right? And you don't fix things by fixing what you did, because that's already been messed up. But it's time for you to replenish yourself, replenish your life. And when it's dark, you bring in more light. So you ruin a friendship, you may not be able to reach back and rekindle that friendship. But while you're sitting there thinking that you're the worst friend in the world, go find a new friend. Get that proof of concept that you are a good friend to somebody. Even though you wasn't to your old friend, you can be a good friend to somebody new. And teach yourself and learn again that, nah, I am a good friend. No, I am a good boyfriend. I am a good mother. You know what I'm saying? Even if you got a bad relationship with your first child, you was young, you was dumb, you was still out in the streets, you wasn't making any sacrifices. You're not a bad mother for the rest of your life. Even if that child is scarred by the things you did, you got another child, you got a chance to start anew. You know what I mean? But you don't always get to fix the mistake. You have to do new things. And I think that kind of goes with what you're saying is like you gotta grieve, you gotta feel bad for a certain period of time, but you do have to move on. So put those new deposits in your life. You know what I'm saying? But no one decision defines one person. You are so many things. You know what I'm saying? And you have to love yourself in all aspects of your life and everything that you bring.
Yeah.
So that when you mess up something, that guilt will be there, but you have to find a way to move on to the new things and become great again. And then before you know it, even though you feel terrible about what you did in the past, is no room for it in your new life. And that's what I want y'all to take away from this. Is like, it's gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay. You are amazing in many ways, even if you mess up one, because we're always gonna mess up one, you know. So I want y'all to pray for me, pray for my mama, real talk, because that's what I'm dealing with right now, is trying to get my mama to see that she's amazing, even though she don't feel like it. Her life has value, even though she don't see it. You know what I'm saying? Um, the other thing I'll say with this is, as we talk about God on our show, the devil is always waiting there to capitalize and make things even bigger than they are. He always wants to show you that there's no way out of your situation. So you did something that's an 8 out of 10, he's going to make it 20 out of 10. He's going to take advantage of those little openings, because his goal is to show you that that mountain is not climbable. But it is climbable, but you need the Lord to help you get up them steps. You know what I'm saying? And I'm glad I got the wife that I got, that can remind me of these things sometimes, and you kind of be my backbone too. But I want y'all to pray for my mama, real talk, because not only is she dealing with mental illness, but she's dealing with heartbreak and shame. And I'm saying this on the podcast because I need advice. I've tried everything I can to get her to see that she's worth being loved, and it's not working. We pray for guidance with that. But if anybody's out there and you've been through situations where you felt shame, you haven't been able to forgive yourself, you know what I'm saying? You haven't been able to move on, but you finally found a way to do it. Hey, yo, let us know. You know what I'm saying? Write your comments on this episode. You see it drop on YouTube. Let us know how you got through that situation. Let us know how you forgave yourself when you did something wrong and you was able to start loving yourself again. You know what I'm saying? Let us know how you did that. Let us know, because we need that advice just like anybody else might need it, because we are going to mess up, and everybody feels shame at some point. You know what I'm saying? So how do we work through shame, and how do we get through things when they end, and we never expected it. I also want y'all to pray for me as I go through my parents' divorce. You know what I'm saying? Because it hurts and it's tough and it impacts everybody. But I love them both, and I wish it wasn't happening. But it also makes me want to appreciate the marriage I have with you, and by the grace of God, everything that we earn won't be something we'll ever in a courtroom about talking about how we're gonna split it up. Cause I can't even mentally put myself there that you could ever become that to me. You get what I'm saying? I can't. Like, you mean too much to me. I wanna. None of this means nothing without you. The money, the podcast, our businesses, furniture, trips, like all the assets we got, it would feel like nothing without you. So we have to make sure that we work out. Right, Bab?
Mhm.
Why you looking at me like that?
Cause you trying to make me cry.
I'm not. I'm just serious. Like, it's nothing without you, man. And that's why it is something because of you. So of course it will be nothing without you. You know what I mean? But to y'all, we want to encourage y'all that when you find yourself in them moments where you never saw it coming, you never thought it was gonna end, you're feeling guilty because you think you're the reason it ended, you think you're not worth loving anymore, you think you're not worth being people spending time with you. You are. You're special. And don't let anything you ever did, said, or encounter with anybody mess up your overall judgment of yourself. Because you might have, messed up in one area, but you'll be fine. And just think about this also. You ever go to a funeral, man? Seriously. And when somebody's talking about somebody, they're talking about their experience that they had. You might think you're a great person, but there's somebody out there that didn't have the greatest experience with you. But it doesn't mean you're not a great person. Because there's somebody else that would jump up right in a second and be like, hold up, I had an amazing experience with this person. We don't live forever. So all we are is an experience. We give each other experiences, we receive experiences. And some people's experiences with you are better than the others. But they're just experiences because we don't live forever. You know what I'm saying? So pray for me, y'all. Real talk. Pray for us. Um, it's not easy, but we're gonna get through this together, right, Bab?
Yeah. Lots of
Um,
decisions that need to be made.
lots of decisions that need to be made. But that's really what I wanted to pour with you about is I just wanted to encourage people, be a little transparent, but encourage people that they can get through it, man. And it just takes a lot of work. And you have to start pouring into yourself again, little by little. You know what I'm saying? Little by little. And over time it will get better. But anyway, back to you, my love. You know what I'm saying? Um, you mentioned I transition a little bit. You mentioned our daughter and the bad news that she got. And you never like getting them phone calls where something seriously wrong. You can see by somebody's reaction that
Mhm.
something serious is going on. You instantly hopped in like a mother. Instantly. You was on the couch with her, holding her. Like, just watching you do that is like, thank you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I know how much she needs you, how much she means to you, but you're an amazing mother. You
Thank
know what
you.
I mean? You really are. And you know what to say and what to do. And I talk a lot, and sometimes you don't talk as much, but your message comes across like. And I was just kind of watching you, like I didn't know what to say, but I was watching you kind of just come in and comfort her like you be comforting me. And we can definitely pray for her and her family members, and that everybody that's impacted by that.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
God is already healing.
Yes,
God
he
is already
is.
working. You know what I'm saying? And her grandma means a lot to us too. And
Mhm.
I know it's gonna be all right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But anyway, as we go forward, you know, anything else that's on your mind as we go forward? Like I know we got so many decisions to make, and anything else that's on your heart on where we should be focused. You know what I mean? What people should be looking for from us. I know we want to grow this podcast, of course. We finally been doing our what is it, 7-figure series, 7-figure
Yes. Yep.
podcast.
I
You
have
know,
some ideas
yeah.
too.
What's up?
Um, well, our podcast has, well, first of all, let me rewind a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I have been having some breakthroughs using AI
Yo, talk about
when it
that.
comes to the podcast production.
All right.
So yeah, I found a way. Every podcast has podcast notes. So just so you all know, we do have like a podcast production team where we pay people to help us compile our episodes and to do the show notes. But I have found a software that can do both.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm not quick to be like, okay, I got the software. I don't need anybody anymore. But I found a way to do the show notes myself. And
Mm-hmm.
the amount of time it takes for me to upload the show to the person to get the notes and stuff that I pay for, it takes the same amount of time for AI to do it. So that part is done.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you know what?
What?
Well, he's going to be editing
No,
the,
no,
the
no.
audio on this.
It's all
So
good.
he's going to know.
That's all right. I mean, they look, we real about the ups and downs of life on the
Yeah,
podcast. It is
yeah,
what it
yeah.
is. You getting?
I don't really have any interest in the audio part,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
the clips
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to the social media stuff,
Mm-hmm.
I want to take that on. So, and
Mm-hmm.
we pay a different person to give us clips. So
Right, right. You see, you always in the background doing your magic to elevate us. Let me tell
yeah,
y'all, listen,
because
Randy always be the, if y'all think it's me, I talk a lot, but the one that makes it really happen is this woman right here. For real. She's the one that tangibly makes things happen for us. She elevates us, elevates our business, our family, our podcast. Thank you. You know
you're
what I'm
welcome.
saying?
You're
But I
welcome.
cut you
Yeah.
off as usual. Go ahead. My bad.
No, but I'm just saying I'm looking for solutions because I'm like, I know, like it's important to incorporate AI into your business. I see the
Mm-hmm.
benefits, especially when we're in a forward moving society
Yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah.
incorporating AI and the speed that comes with it. Like if you look at AI the right way, it's a tool where you can get through tons and tons and tons of information quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So why not try to utilize it? So I'm thinking, like when it comes to these show notes, I'm like, there's nobody that's sitting here and listening and writing down word for word. He's using some sort of machine to
Yeah.
get these notes and stuff. So I said, I'm gonna crack the code on this. I'm gonna figure this thing out,
Mm-hmm.
which I have, which I'm very proud about because it saves money, it saves time, and I can now, do this part myself.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the clips too.
Yeah.
I'm like, AI, now there is opportunity for you to go in there and manually do stuff, but AI will take your information and you can tell AI, pull out the clips that have me talking about money,
Mm-hmm.
taxes, advertising, whatever it is, and it'll pull them for you.
Mm-hmm.
And you can make them longer, shorter, like it gives you all these options. I'm like, dang, and it does it within seconds. So I'm going to take this information,
Mm-hmm.
and not only am I going to elevate the Dex and Randy show, but this moves towards the other production within the other corporation, Quiet Money.
Talk about that. That's what we can end with.
Oh, what
Talk a
aspects?
little bit. Just talk a little bit where you going with it. Give people, you know what I mean, something to look forward to because you're really working and you learned a lot. So what we
Yeah,
talking about?
I'm just I don't want to talk about it and then not do anything because I don't want to be all talk, but I have an idea. So, one thing that I have learned about business is that you don't really have to be an expert at anything. You just have to know how to do things better than a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And I know how to produce a podcast for
Mm-hmm.
the most part. So, probably better than most people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that it's a service. Oh, the other thing that I'm learning is how to delegate.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that is a service that I can provide to other businesses that I can just run, but I will hire people to do different aspects of
Mm-hmm.
the business, which would be podcast production.
All right.
But I'm slow walking it. Like it's in the back of my mind, but it's not like on my plate.
Yeah.
But when I can't even say when I have free time. I have a small block of time, 30 minutes every day, which I don't always use, but I say I'm going to focus on bettering the Dex and Randi Show. And while doing that, I'm learning and I'm mentally making notes for whatever the Quiet Money podcast production may or may not be.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Hey, but look, you know what I mean? I'm glad you said that. I know we run up on time, but you don't ever have to be a little afraid to share that. You know why? Because if you haven't noticed, since we started doing this podcast a year ago, the accountability between us has really gone through the roof. So, like, there's not much that was talked about on this podcast. We may not have achieved everything and be able to say, oh, that's done. But there's really nothing that was said on the show that we haven't tried. We want to be better with our health. We're doing that. We want to be better with our business. When we started, we talked about bringing people on and making the business better. We did that. Like, this is actually us doing the podcast is actually making us better because the things that we say we're gonna do, we go out and we do it. So you don't even have to be afraid because that's what this podcast is doing just for us amongst many things. But like we say it and then we go try it. I can't think of one thing we're throwing out there that we ain't say, you know what? Let's put it on the plan to try and do. And I know
what it is.
What's that?
One thing is we said we were going to wake up. When we? Oh, we were supposed to meet every night at 9:30.
Yeah, we ain't did that yet.
So anyway,
but we have met once. I want to say, and at least we started doing the 7-figure podcast. We have did that, but the 9:30 thing has not been happening. But I will say to that, what has
been happening at 9:30.
What's been happening at 9:30?
Things.
Lots of things. You know what I'm saying?
All right, well, let's close on out.
Anyway, listen, if it's your first time, look, can't even speak. Look, if it's your first time listening to our podcast, this is Dex and Randi Show, the #1 show for going through the ups and downs of life. We just be real about everything, as you notice. Randy is my partner, my ride or die, and everything. And if you want to make sure you don't miss any of our upcoming episodes, you got to follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, the Dex and Randi Show. Show us some love. Share our podcast. That's how we grow. And we here for y'all. We building a community where we are just real about everything. You know what I'm saying? So make sure you tap in with us. Until next time, peace. Make sure you follow the Dex and Randi Show on all platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, on YouTube. Let us know what you're going through. This is the #1 show for going through the ups and downs of life. We want to hear from you, engage with you. Till next time, peace.